Good night, everyone. Lovely hearing from you. Now, welcome to the final year readiness program
Presenting Navigating Your Future.
through the information and technology industry.
We're your host, Regine Bennett.
And Jada Brownie.
It's a pleasure for us to be here and also to see your beautiful and handsome faces. We hope that you engage with us as we have a lovely set of panelists here. We have Dr. Samantha Johnson, General Manager of NovaMed. Give her a round of applause. Also, we have Mr. Johan Adamson, Senior Manager and Data Analytics and Insights at VM Group. Round of applause for him. You can also see the VM Group booth at the back, so please visit them. We also have Davin Doman, Manager of IT Services at Sagicor. Welcome. And Alden Graham, Managing Director of Agile Lab. Welcome.
Now, tonight's proceedings would not have been possible without our wonderful sponsors. So I'd like to give an unofficial, for now, thank you to 20K Entertainment.
Yeah. No, I'm clapping.
VM Group, Kazana Foods, Red Bull, Rasta Safari, and the Sports Files.
All right, Jada, I wonder if they're ready for the session. Do you think they're ready?
I don't think they're ready yet.
I mean, you think everybody here is interested in IT?
Can I see the hands of all those who are actually interested in information and technology?
Okay.
Oh, nice.
That's majority.
Okay, anybody here not interested in IT at all? But you just, showing face. Let's see what this is about.
Is that a hand? That's a hand.
Okay.
Okay. But why are you here? Why are you here? Let me come over to you, because we're not shy now. Let me come over to you. Why are you here?
I'm here for moral support.
We love that. What about you? Why are you here? You just come but you show up. We love that. If you're just showing up, pick up yourself. Round of applause for you if you're just showing up. Jada, that's not bad.
That's not bad at all. And I know a lot of us here, we are not in degrees or programs that have anything to do with information and technology on the surface. But in this day and age, knowing a little bit of IT is extremely, extremely useful in any profession that you're in. So for those who are here to show face, I do believe you will grasp something today that say, wait a minute, I should have been interested in IT. We have a doctor on the panel. What is a doctor doing in information and technology industry? We're about to find out.
Indeed, and there's so much to know for sure. So we ask that you engage, immerse yourself in the space, and actively listen as we have some giveaways, prizes, and surprises. And
I know you heard some of the sponsors. There's a food sponsor. So, we will be having refreshments for all those who show face. You show face at the right events, right? Okay.
Awesome. So who do we have up now, Jada?
All right. So now, as per tradition, we will be starting off with our opening prayer. I'd like to invite Mr. Niston Douglas to do this opening prayer for us. Give him a round of applause, please. Yeah.
Good night, everyone. Let's assume a posture of reverence, please. Dear loving and gracious Father, thank you for the day you have given to us. Thank you for everything you have continued doing for us as university students. Help us to learn what we come here to learn tonight, and when we leave, help us to go to our several homes in good peace, in Jesus' name.
Amen, amen. Now that we have officially welcomed you as the host, we'll have another welcome by Miss Noella Brown. Please make her welcome.
Student Services and Development Manager of the Irving Hall, Ms. Simone Williams, esteemed guests, our panelists for tonight, Yona Adamson, Senior Manager, Data Analytics and Insights at VM Group, Olden Graham, Managing Director of Agile Lab, Dr. Samantha Johnson, General Manager of Novamed, and Davin Doman, Manager of IT Services at Sagicor, the host for tonight, Regine Bennett, and our very own Jada Brownie, resident advisors, members of the Hall Committee, and last but certainly not least, our dear students, a pleasant evening to you all. Tonight's event is under the Final Year Readiness Program, spearheaded by resident advisor Javid Bryan. Under this program is the Professional Development Series aimed at equipping students with insights and valuable information to become cognizant of a wide range of career choices available in different industries. The name of the series is Navigating Your Future, Getting Ready for Final Year and Careers. This episode is focused on the information technology industry. We encourage you to gain valuable insights from members of the industry, actively engage in this event, take the opportunity to network, and most importantly, enjoy this event. Students, this event is for your benefit. Once again, welcome to Navigating Your Future, Getting Ready for Final Year and Careers, the Information Technology Industry Edition. Sit back, but not too far back, relax, and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Noella Brown. Now, the man of the event, the man that has made this possible. Ladies and gentlemen, please make our resident advisor, who is spearheading the Final Year Readiness Program, Mr. Javid Bryan, to give the opening remarks and overview.
Thank you, Jada. Ms. Simone Williams, Irving Hall Student Services and Development Manager, distinguished guest speakers, our committed sponsors, our fellow resident advisors, members of the Irving Hall Committee, and our esteemed students, good evening. Welcome to the second episode of our Final Year Readiness Program, Navigating Your Future, Getting Ready for Final Year and Careers. I'm thrilled to actually see this room being capacitated with students from different backgrounds, different faculties, different areas of study for this particular session. Now, in our first episode, we explored the exciting world of media and communication. Tonight, as Jada would have mentioned, as well as Noella, we would shift our focus to the dynamic and ever-changing or ever-evolving information technology industry. Just as our previous session, you will have the opportunity to interact directly with our seasoned IT professionals. They will share their personal journeys, offering valuable insights into the challenges and rewards of their respective careers. This sector offers such a vast array of career choices, and I implore you to tap in, actively engage with our panelists as they take us on this particular journey. Now, this is your chance to ask your questions, explore various career choices, various roles, and discover the diverse opportunities within the IT landscape. Our goal is to equip you with not only the knowledge of the IT field, but also the essential skills necessary to thrive in your final year and beyond. We want you to leave here inspired and empowered to navigate your future with confidence. Again, thank you for turning out. Thank you for giving our guests the opportunity to provide you with knowledge, and also thank you for being at this particular event. I am really, really happy to see you all here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bryan. And with his initiative, and of course the backbone being the sponsors, the Final Year Readiness Program is what it is. We'd like to say special thanks to these sponsors: VM Group, Kazana Foods, Red Bull, Rasta Safari, 20K Entertainment, and Sports Files. Round of applause for our sponsors, please. Louder than that, man. Because when you're full in your belly, you know. You have to remember them. All right? So now we're going to break the ice a bit, and I'm going to hand over to Jada. So over to you.
Before you leave. Yeah. All right, so we have touched a lot on the topic of IT not being in a small little box of the computer, and what did we do in high school? Pascal, Excel. What else in IT?
I mean, some spreadsheets.
Java. So I know we're all wondering how we're going to apply this to our different areas of study. But before we go there, we do want to give you a little entertainment before we get into the nitty-gritty of the night, right?
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to be entertained, serenaded by Mr. Nathan Laldi and Darnell Sanderson. So I want you all to give them a big round of applause as they come to entertain us tonight.
Give him another round of applause. Nathan Laldi, awesomeness. Live music, nice, don't? Sweetie, right, Jada?
Absolutely. And speaking of live music, one of our sponsors is putting on an event tomorrow called Crimson Red. We'll be having Leela Ike live in concert and another surprise guest artist that I don't think you guys want to miss. So if you want to pass through tomorrow, please feel free to do so. Tickets are on sale at Chancellor Den. I think it's just $1,000. So, buy your tickets while stocks last.
Yes, lovely, lovely.
Regine,
ensure
I heard
that
you have
all turn
something
out.
sweet for the audience now.
I do. It's giveaway time. Woo! Woo! We're not excited. No, man. It's giveaway time. No, man. All right. So, VM Group is our main sponsor. All right. Give it up for them one more time. Thank you for being with us, VM Group. We appreciate you. Thank you for believing in our initiative. So the question is founded on that. Now, who is able to tell me the CEO of VM? All right, Jada, we have a hand.
Mr. Courtney Campbell.
Correct. So we have our friend. Clap him. Congratulations, sir. Please see Javid for your gift. Awesome, awesome. So yes, Mr. Courtney Campbell is the CEO of a VM Group. And again, we thank them for being our main sponsor and we appreciate them. Now, we're almost there to the presentation segment where we have our lovely panelists. I see that you're buzzing and ready to go. Yes. So we're going to just go in the order that you're seated. But let me just give a run through of them all once again for those just joining us. Welcome to the final year readiness program where we're navigating your future through the information and technology industry. You're just in time for the meat of the matter, our panelists. So we have Dr. Samantha Johnson, General Manager of NovaMed. Give her a round of applause. She'll be our third presenter because they're presenting as they're seated. We have Johan Adamson, Senior Manager, Data Analytics and Insights at VM Group. Give him a round of applause. We also have Mr. Davin Doman, Manager of IT Services at Sagicor. A round of applause for him. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Aldine Graham, Managing Director of Agile Lab. Give them a round of applause. All right, so we'll start with you, sir. Over to you. We each have 10 minutes to present, so.
Good evening. Well, let me first say congratulations to Javid and the team for the thought leadership that went into this evening. I think it's a good idea that we're trying to empower persons leaving university, trying to give them a sense as to what they're to expect when they head out into the working world, right? I expected to come here as a part of a panel discussion. I also expected to come here to speak to an audience that was IT-centric and focused. Nonetheless, I will try to speak to the IT industry as general as I can. So the first thing I'd want to say is that, well, let me give you a little bit of background of myself. I actually attended the University of the West Indies much years ago, right? I did my degree here in computer science and mathematics. I'd also want to say that the field of study, the field that I am in, which is data analytics, when I was in university, there was no such thing as a data analytics degree, right? That track did not exist at UA. It barely existed in some of the universities overseas, right? And I say this to say that right now, in the world, I think we're on the brink of the next big thing, which is artificial intelligence. And I'm pretty sure that university doesn't have an AI-related degree, right? So what you learn now is going to be the knowledge that everybody, I mean, nobody out there knows more about AI right now than what you can find out for yourself at this very moment just by doing your own research, learning what's out there on the internet and so on, right? So I want to put that out there to you. So I've started my career, my technical career largely at VM Group in programming, software development, and quickly, in a matter of years, we'd have tried to move to data analytics, which is where I currently hone my craft. And in terms of IT careers, I'd want to say that IT is a very, very wide field. It's extremely wide. You're talking about the things that you know about, for example, your programming, your networking, your infrastructure, your communication technology. There are lots of things out there that are now taking over the space. We're talking about data protection, which is brand new for Jamaica, cybersecurity, of course, data analytics, and there are lots of IT adjacent fields as well. So IT project management, things like IT service delivery in general and IT service delivery. So when you think about the IT space, you really shouldn't think not necessarily about the things that you hear about a lot. There are lots of channels between those channels that you can fit into. And I'd also want to say that management in IT tends not to be related to anything that you learn here in terms of the technical skills, right? Your advancement in IT tends to come a lot from your soft skills development, your communication skills, your people skills, your what you call it, interpersonal skills, right? Team building skills. And a lot of the skills that you learn here at university just by interacting with the persons that you interact with on a daily basis. So I'll stop there and I'll give the other panelists a chance to speak.
All right, good night, everyone. All right, I'm not a sitting type at all. So, all right. Javid, respect for the setup because I didn't know I was going to speak for 10 minutes. But, all right. All right, for the IT people, just raise the hand again. I'm just feel. All right. Yeah, proven. And what's the other domain that we have in here? Any business persons? All right, I'm fit for that too. Any managers, future managers, science people, numbers? Yeah? Numbers? Banking? All right. Yo, no fit on the com side too, All right. So, how we're going to start this is, let me introduce myself again, right? So I'm Olden, right? As I said, managing director of Agile Lab. The fancy way of saying that I run a small tech company, right? And we do consulting. So I've never written a code after university, right? That's my come up is project management. I talk a lot. I meet a lot in terms of developers, so I have a good slice in terms of the exposure, in terms of persons who want to go into like IT services, project management, UX, you name it. I've worked with persons like that. My advice is, how do I do this now? All right, 10 minutes. See if we can spend 2 minutes for the starting. So similar like you guys, almost finished final year, don't know where I'm going, right? Did some internships, did my university, got my grades, everything, right? And stayed home for a couple months. And one day I was just doing a lot of courses on project management and thing. I thought I know it all, right? And I reached out to a brethren, him have a little startup company, and he said, yo, Graham, you're the fit for right here. We decided to write the CEO a letter and said, yo, I know your problem, I know how to fix it. Kind of was a bit dumb and young kind of thing, you see me? Youthful exuberance kind of thing. But that got me the exposure into project management, understand and appreciate software development and all that. You see me? Get my first boss. And I started that job getting nothing. Like I was an intern, paid free. And I think after like 3 months, him decided to say, you come here every day, you're the last person who will leave, well a salary. And by the time he gave me a salary, Digicel came knocking, and similar to my brethren here,
My first job, official job, was outside of project management, was being BI, business intelligence. Anybody know about that? Nah? Tough crowd. All right, so that really means the fancy way of saying, you know, if you use Excel kind of thing, you see me? Because that was what we were using a lot. And it goes beyond just Excel. You can do like databases, those kind of things. And after that, now, I went into, I never stayed in a job more than a year. That's the weirdest thing about me. So after a year, I jumped ship again. And that worked for me, personally, right? And then after that, I went into another little, I would say, boutique kind of consulting, got into project management again, liked it, decided to say, yo, and every time I'm trying to like find a way how for like double my money kind of thing, or find a way for like figure out how I can do what you guys are doing. So after that company, I went into, from Digicel, went to a company named Medellin. Medellin is like one of those development shop. They're based in the US, but they have like a satellite office locally. So they would get projects overseas and give us, right? And I was like, yeah, this is going good, this is going good. And in that, I created a framework, one that I want to share with everybody, right? And is around, because when I was doing project management, I wasn't even certified. I was just doing a lot of short courses, those kind of things. And the framework of my design, you know, like a one-bedroom apartment, is focus on doing a lot of certification kind of thing. So there's a PMI for project management, there's something for software development kind of thing. And as we know, the experience is important, right? Even if you mean shadowing, even if you mean you write a brother email and tell him, say, no, how to fix him problem. And the other one that is really important is tools. When I think we find that the industry is that we might have persons certified, but when it comes to like using the actual tools, because certification tell you the best practice of anything that you do, right? If you have the coding, then we tell you can learn how to write a method from now till the morning, but you know, doing the actual thing is a whole different thing. What else, man? Oh, branding, that's important. So show off everybody who have a LinkedIn page. Good. All right. And I'll go on good. Another day of the game. Show how who have Instagram. Oh, man, I have that. Yeah. So you see the ones who have an Instagram page and don't have a LinkedIn page, get a LinkedIn tonight. You see me? That's the starting, right? Because we're up on a global level now, and not only locally you will attract persons, but even overseas, right? Let me see, where am I there now? Which company am I there? Anybody remember where am I stop? Which company am I there now? Medellin. All right. So I end up jump ship again, right? Going to a local company, a bank that is, because then the compensation is kind of nicer, right? No formal clothes, it's just, yeah. So I decided to jump ship again. And who am I going next? I don't remember at all. But it was about a year in JN kind of thing and doing my thing. And then, as I say, remember that same principle about branding yourself, putting out your content kind of thing. A company from Argentina reached out, right? And them time the scamming good, you see me? So I say, I wonder if this is a scam. Money look good, but I'm not sure. So I start work for them for a 30 day, get the first pay, and decide, say, yeah man, this look good. But as usual, I'm going to try to find a way how to do what them do. So I figure out that there was a thing about 2 years now, or 3 years ago, called staff augmentation, right? And the model was simple. You know, they found companies in the US, and they found local talents like in India, Jamaica, Latin America, where the standard of living is pretty low, so it's easier, like the dollar is powerful, right? And so they give you a portion of that and then tell you, say, yo, work with these clients. It's good in the sense that you get your exposure in terms of first world experience, working with those kind of teams, from the Google to the Yahoo to the whomever, Pinterest, etc. And so I decided to get a group of friends, you see me, and just say, yo, we can do that too. We can brand ourselves, we can create a company and do the same thing, sell ourselves, which is what we did, right? That company had a list of potential clients, and I looked at it and I copied it and I started reaching out to them and created my own little thing about it. And don't worry, guys, it's part of the journey, you see me? As you get exposed to these things, you use it as you see fit. And so years later, we're doing Agile Lab. It's really going good. We have clients both in the Latin America to the US. And what I've done is given us a good understanding of what's needed. And when it comes to the tech space, sorry for everybody else, it's a rapidly growing industry when we talk about software developers in need, and those kind of things. And Jamaica, by a baseline, we have the right amount of talent. We're definitely qualified. And I think that's one of the things I wanted to share with you guys is that the talent that's coming out of the university is enough to match the global market in terms of needs, right? So if anything you get from that is change job every other year, and two, there's a market for us, not just locally, but also overseas. All right, that's it. That's the 10 minutes. All right. Soon in at the Q&A.
I mean, that's a hard act to follow. I'm here putting on a stopwatch just in case, you know. So hi everybody, my name is Samantha, and I don't really think I work in IT, but you know, the work that I do with my company with them. Okay, I'm back. Everybody can hear me? All right, so I'll tell you a little bit about my story. You have to really pay attention because it's like very convoluted. So yes, I came here at UWI and I studied as a medical doctor. Did my 2 foundation years, and then like most people, I don't know if I'm being presumptuous. I never really know what I want to do. Imagine I went through these 5 years, I was just like, not really interested. So I quit. So I quit, and I decided that I was just gonna say yes to anything that would get me in a room I wanted to go in, would help me learn a new skill, or would help me practice something. Some of the things I ended up doing was I worked at Ragamuffin as a barista. Wait, no, I wasn't a barista, as a waiter and all those things. I did some research as well. I did quite a bit of traveling over my gap years, right? So it was really important to me that I took that time out to figure out what I want to do. What does this have to do with IT? This is really easing into the company that I ended up working with. So when I started this journey, almost parallel to it, I started a journey with Novamed. So Novamed is a healthcare sorry. I won't hit it again, I'm sorry. So Novamed is an investment firm, and we focus on healthcare assets and real estate. So we own Medical Associates, we also own Summit, which was recently Knoxford Court, and I'm actually the general manager of the Catalyst Innovation Institute. This is a very exciting arm of Novamed that I'm really passionate about, and that's how, you know, we incorporate our work in IT. So I technically work on more of a support side, whether it's with entrepreneurs, freelancers, innovators, because the aim of Catalyst is really to bring innovation to emerging markets. And that just means helping persons like us come up with new technologies. When I got invited to this, I really didn't know what we're going to talk about. So people kept messaging me like, oh, you're going to Irving, say hi to Jada for me. DeAndre said big ups. And I was just like, okay, let me check on Instagram what the panel is about. True story, right, Aldine? And I realized it was about information technology. And for some reason, I could not get out of my mind Peter Thiel. Anybody know who that is? No. So anybody know PayPal? So Peter Thiel is actually a co-founder. I feel like for stand up to now, you know. I do it. Peter Thiel is the co-founder, really, of PayPal. But he wrote a really interesting book called 0 to 1. Anybody read it? Hear about it? So in that book, a lot of us tend to think of technology as, you know, internet, speaker, mic, computers. But that book really showed me that technology is really all about creating new solutions. Most of us tend to go from 1 to N, and what that means is improving already existing systems. So one of the reasons why this book was so interesting to me is because healthcare is one of those sectors that can really benefit from 1 to N, but even more so from 0 to 1. Now, in Catalyst, one of our mandates is venture and to support, as I said, financially. We like to be very hands-on as well, so we just completed our accelerator, our second cohort, and we had 10 startups in healthcare. Now, if you know anything about doctors, we don't really know nothing about business. So this is why we actually end up doing it. I don't know if there are any doctors in here, actually. Okay, you're a doctor. Once in a med school, I save you as doctor, something, whatever. 100% manifestation. Yeah, we had 10 startups. They were all across the globe, or across the region. We had from St. Lucia, Trinidad, Chile. And what's really exciting is that we had a myriad of companies ranging from your services, such as concierge, ambulance services, but we had quite a bit of tech companies, and they focused really on solving issues related to how our data is kept, how data and information is transferred between healthcare professionals. Additionally, we had one that focuses on incorporating genetics into treatment, and of course, the use of AI and how we can do this. Now, healthcare is one of those places or one of those sectors that can really benefit from the implementation of IT and the building out of new technologies, particularly in our markets or emerging markets, and that just means a developing country, because currently we're moving more towards developed, so we're having more hypertension, diabetes, we're living longer, more chronic illnesses, and it's quite a burden on our healthcare system. And for a lot of us, we know that healthcare can be very expensive. The beauty of tech is that it can improve efficiency. It can also decrease costs. So COVID was like 5 years ago, but it feels like yesterday, right? And we saw how technology could be useful in COVID. That's when we had a lot of telemedicine happening. We started seeing where, oh my gosh, all the different verticals or all the different parts of healthcare, it was very hard to communicate, because when I see a patient, I not see her now, we see each other face to face. I seen her over Zoom or whatnot, but I need to write a prescription. How do I communicate that to our pharmacy? Pharmacy say, you must bring in the physical prescription. You can't bring it in, blah, blah, blah. So we saw how different areas really could not communicate, and then having to start thinking about things like regulation, thinking about data privacy, data protection. So all this to say, much like healthcare, IT or tech it touches on several arms or several aspects of our lives and areas and industries. So, wait, my timer. I'll take it. Oh no, see there. So, right, it's very interesting, I think, learning about IT, coming from being a doctor. I swore I was going to be a doctor for the rest of my life. I always will be, yeah. But working with persons who have big dreams, working with persons who want to solve real problems, and working with persons who want to bring to our area, our corner of the earth, the benefits that can come from tech. But then because it is healthcare, what it does is highlight the areas that we maybe need to a bit more work on. So we need to work on our data privacy. We need to work on how we use data. Who owns the data? That's the number one question in tech. Who owns the data, right? So I think across the board, if you're to think one thing, is to realize that in any aspect of your life or in any aspect of your career, whether or not you work in tech or you work adjacent to tech, it's something that you have to be thoughtful about. It's something you may have to understand, and it's something that we use on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I used ChatGPT up to 5 minutes ago, right? Had to pronounce Peter Thiel, can never yet say it out loud. So, it's very interesting, and I'm very happy to be here today to be able to share my story, to show you guys that, sometimes you don't know what you do, you just kind of waffle in life and eventually you'll reach somewhere. True story. And not to take yourself too seriously. And the number one thing is just lean in. Aldane said something very important. He said when he was an intern, he was probably the first one to come, stay every day, leave late every day. And I will tell you, you don't have to have the expertise, but you see, if you have the drive, the passion, and the resilience, you can be a startup founder. You can have, what do you call it, a unicorn. You can be GM, because those are things that I did when I interacted with our founder. I showed up, and I showed up a lot, and now I have this privilege of helping other healthcare workers who not so sure what they want to do with their lives, but also are interested in creating these new solutions that will benefit not just Jamaicans, not just the Caribbean, but tech is worldwide, so they can benefit everybody across the world. Thank you.
Good night, everyone. So, rough being last. And if you realize we're all wearing black, and it's going to sound like we all have the same notes, but we really didn't meet and plan this. So, for me, I started as an intern at the Sagicor Group, and it was rough. I started in the basement of the company, so when all the other interns were going up to the fancy offices, I was going down into the basement where nobody can see me. All I do was answer calls and respond to emails. That was it. But I've worked my way up, and I moved from being intern, temp, permanent, supervisor, manager. Do not do that at the same company. As my friend said, to build that experience, because what I'll be sharing with you guys is both things that worked and didn't work. So that's what I believe. While I have gained some experience and I understand how I benefited from it, I wouldn't encourage fresh out of university going into the working world to follow that same route. I have seen where persons who would have started as intern moved around and are at higher positions because they have navigated the working world and understand different work cultures and understand how to navigate through different business spaces. So that's just one advice I'd want to give, which is not a part of my 9, and I hope I have time. So first I want to say, always dress and act the role that you want. Men, especially men, when I'm conducting interviews, the women are outperforming you. And it's sometimes the simplest things like just dressing appropriately. So I just always want to give that advice. Women, you guys have it locked. Trust me, you guys have it locked, but it's still an advice that I want to give, always dress appropriately. Not just for interviews, but as long as you're in a professional setting, always dress appropriately. Men, if you can, get a blazer, come up to the interview. I know it's mostly online these days, still wear one, and put your best foot forward. One of the things that helped me the most being in service delivery is to have a customer service oriented mindset and a positive attitude. That takes you far, very, very far, because you may have the skills. I mean, I'm speaking to IT professionals, mostly IT professionals. So I know you guys will have the skills. But what you need is the attitude as well, where persons can bank on you to perform the task and to be excellent. My fellow panelists said, build your personal brand. right here as well, so you know we're not lying. And how you're going to build your personal brand. We mentioned creating a LinkedIn account, social media, create your own YouTube page. If there's an area that you like the most in IT, and it doesn't even have to be IT, these advice work straight across any field. Build that reputation of always sharing and building on your knowledge and having that platform to share your skill. You have no idea how much opportunities can come out of it. Somebody might just reach out to you and say, hey, we need your advice on this, I want you on a project. Just like that, you're getting paid. Why? Because you have a IG account that you're talking about IT on. As it relates to building personal brands, again, learn how to sell. I know, I'm talking to IT professionals. But read books as much as you can on how to sell, how to negotiate, how to build your public speaking skills. Because these skills, although you're not necessarily into sales, you have to learn how to convince someone to do something. At some point, you guys will be future leaders. You guys will be able to build the influence you can when you know how to negotiate. Always, always, always negotiate your salaries. All right. So yeah, those are what I have on the personal brand, or build your personal brand. 4, have a passion for learning. It will take you so far. Oh, and apply what you have learned. Don't just, you learn a new coding aspect or you learn a new training. Try to incorporate it and build your skill set. Have that passion for learning. This one I got from, I just shared it with another leader at my company, and they said to always add this one. Find a mentor. Find someone who, at a level that you want to be or you want to get to, and you don't have to force up on them. I understand people are busy when they're at a certain level, but pick their brains. Ask them how they got there. Similar to this panel here. Build that relationship with someone at a senior level where you want to get to, so that they can share the advice on the do's and don'ts on how to navigate your space. Be a problem finder, not just a problem solver. As a problem finder, you are looking at, and let me write, I have my notes right here, someone who identifies problems worth solving and actually come up with the proposals to solve them. And I have attached here is learn how to write a proposal. Anywhere you're going, they'll have problems. You walk right out of university and you go to a company and you think it's going to be MacBooks everywhere and the fastest servers. That will not be the case. Look for things that can be improved. Learn how that company create proposals and make your proposals. It might not get done, but what you have shown to your vice president, your boss, your manager, you are someone who can see problems and show how to fix it, someone who is always thinking of how to improve, and that goes a far way. Pick something you're good at, pick an area you're good at, and put in your 10,000 hours. Will you always hear a person say, I've spent the last 10 years in XYZ? They're basically showing that they have their 10,000 hours and they are now considered the expert, the go-to. And that's what that is. You find something, how do you young people say it, you lock in, and then you make sure you learn as much as you can about it. And it's okay that you're young, there's always much to learn. You just need to understand that you don't get frustrated. If there's something that you're passionate about, you just try your best to own in on that skill set and build as much as possible. Get the cert. Get the cert. Degree will not be enough. One of my co-panelists here said there are people all over the world with the same degree and have the same level of skill set. There are brilliant people everywhere. So your degree alone may not get you to the level that you want to get. Get the cert, get the Red Hats, get the Microsoft Cloud, get all the certs that you possibly can, to build that specific skill set that you need. And the last one I have here is don't limit yourself. Co-panelist said it again. Jamaica is big, but the world is huge, and there are many people in Jamaica that are living right here and having the overseas jobs and earning as much as they can. And it's because they didn't limit themselves to what's in their environment. That's how you build on these skills so you can market yourself as the go-to for your area. So those are my 9 advice to you. A bit of background, as mentioned, I am the IT manager for service delivery and system administration for the Sagicor Group. I am also a product owner in charge of an agile lab for mostly innovative projects surrounding automation. So what I have done is take the service delivery or service-oriented mindset that I've gotten from the last 10 years in IT, core IT, and now apply it with a bit of project management skills to lead an agile team. And that's another advice in itself. Make sure that you're able to transfer those skill sets and apply it into other areas, because you might come out of college and you say you want to be a network administrator, but 3 years down the line you might just see something else, project management, software engineering, that interests you more. Build on the transferable skills, the soft skills, and put your best foot forward, have that confidence, and you guys will do great.
Awesome stuff. A healthy round of applause, please, for our panelists. Thank you so much. Just before we get into the Q&A session, we have 2 important things I would like you to know. That our winner there that said Mr. Courtney Campbell is the CEO of VM Group. He got $5,000. Clap him. Yes.
You see why you should just show face,
Indeed.
no matter what.
And participate.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for the Irvinites and non-Irvinites that have visited to show face as well, you cannot say you have passed through Irvine Hall and not to learn the importance of networking. We hear so many times here while we're on Hall, many different networking events, that your network is your net worth, and our panelists have made that very clear to us. So thank you once again, lovely panelists. Give them a round of applause one more time. As you can see on the screen, Mr. and Miss Irvinia is coming up on March 9th. And the tickets are now on sale there for $1,000, and you can get them from any of the Mr. and Miss Irvinia committee members or the pageant contestants. So purchase your tickets, support your fellow hall mates, Blockites, sisters, brothers, and yeah.
All right, so now for the Q&A session, we're just going to come into the audience, and you can raise your hand, and we'll hand you the mic. Okay, coming to you. Well, I saw his hand first. Coming back.
I have a question for each of the panelists. So I guess I'll start from the beginning. You spoke about AI and data analytics and all of these stuff, and interestingly, I read a document today that spoke about AI being used in business operations and whatnot. In terms of like policy making for different companies and governance and whatnot, what's your take on the transparency and the actual accountability of AI-driven decision-making in different businesses? Do you think it's ethical? Do you think it's a problem? Do you think we have to evaluate it? Like, how is it moving along? What's your thoughts?
Well, I believe there are ethical considerations to it, and most of those would lie with the amount of data that is shared with like an AI engine, right? I don't think the industry is divided about what AI can do. Everybody knows that AI is a groundbreaking technology, and we should really try to milk it for what it's worth. But in terms of the kind of exposure that AI can have to your business operations, to your data, for example, which is why I think most of the AI engines are data illiterate right now, right? It's not that they can't do it, it's because the industry has realized that this is a point that we really need to take stock of, right? Before we start sharing data with AI. So, and in terms of the governance, I think most companies are at that space now where they're still trying to figure it out. I mean, if you should canvas the local landscape, even the international landscape, the industry is kind of cagey as to where to apply AI, right? And so you find that the applications of AI to our business operations and to our problems is limited by that particular scope, right? People don't want to expose too much to AI at this point in time. So, yeah, the risk is there, and people are managing the risk, I would say.
All right, so no, listen, and I want you to answer this question. Right, so you spoke about being a project manager, and that you don't necessarily write code anymore. So I'm assuming it's a bit more hands-off from the technical stuff, and more so you're getting people to manage this project now. With the rapid growth of AI and all of these different chatbots that can actually do full software development for you, do you see the field becoming obsolete in terms of the function of coders becoming obsolete? Will there be a need for coders within the next 5 to 10 years?
I think there'll be an evolution for coders. What it look like, I don't know. But here's my 2-bit on it, right? So I'm heavily invested in a lot of AI companies because I know that they're coming from a job, right? So I'll profit from it probably in the next 5 to 10 years. So that's my safeguard on it. I think there's always going to be a room for developers and what that would look like. Personally, I don't know, but history has shown us, like, when technology came into the whole shipping industry, right? We still have sailors, right? Even though the job is less rigorous and demanding, etc., there's still a need for that level of navigation. So I believe, even though AI is there, for the next 5 to 10 years, I think we're all going to still have a job kind of thing. And that's just my assumption. But the beauty about technology is you can't really predict what technology looks like in the next 5 to 10 years. You can just probably give a guesstimate on it. So my way of hedging my bet is to just invest heavily in AI, because one way or another, you can't stop it, so that's my plan.
So, yeah, funny enough, I wrote an AI proposal for a company once, and it was to replace my entire unit. Of course, everybody was a little, and of course, I know that's crazy that I would do that to my own unit. But the idea is, and to answer you very plainly, we will still need developers for AI. AI has to learn, and we have professionals. So, as I said, our co-panel said, it's a evolution. Persons may need to start thinking how they can contribute to the future of AI.
All right, Madam Doctor, you spoke about working for an organization that's focused on solution orientation, right? Is that limited to just IT stuff, or can an engineer like me get on board for different projects, like, let's say, renewable energy and those stuff? This is my pitch, by the way.
Wow, I've been spending all week listening to pitches. I'm so excited. So for Catalyst Innovation Institute, it is actually not focused on IT, and it's not even focused on healthcare per se. Our accelerator it's focused on helping emerging, or rather revenue generating startups in healthcare across the Caribbean and Latin America. But the rest of it, what we have found is that a lot of what we do to support these entrepreneurs, whether it is, helping them find financing, or helping them with marketing strategies, scaling strategies, and, even just developing their ideas, that this is industry agnostic. So we actually have a space called Catalyst Campus, and we created that space just so we'd have a home and we'd be able to bring together movers and shakers, entrepreneurs, freelancers, experts, and invite everyone into our space to kind of work together, build a community, and support one another. So long and short is that was my pitch to get you guys at Catalyst Campus, 16 Chelsea Avenue, 9 to 5. Just send me a message. But yes, we have several areas where you can engage with us. We have an incubator where we start from idea stage. We basically hold your hand. We're based a lot on partnerships and relationships. So, we're anchor funded by IDB, so Development Bank, and the DBJ. We have partnerships with UE, UWI, UHWI, MORI, which is the Mona Research Institute. So we do quite a bit. And it was born out of thought leadership, and we said, we can do more than the conferences and writing and blogs. We like to get our hands dirty at NovoMed, is what I'd say. We like to be on the ground. So sure, you can talk to me afterwards. We can see where you can fit. I'll invite you to the space, and we can take it from there.
All right, thank you.
Panelists, I know those questions took you off guard. You're like, whoa, wait, he is thinking. Oh, we have another question. Go ahead.
Okay, good night. I actually have two questions, one for the data analyst and one for the persons doing project management. I'll start with those doing project management. So, yes, Mr. Grimm, you've mentioned that you've done PMI, you said? You said that you've done PMI? Okay, so there's some other certificates like the PMP, CAPM. So which do you think is best for someone starting and trying to get into project management? And how would you suggest that someone go into project management, the pathway that they should take?
Oh, that's a nice question. And I have my bias, all right? All right, so there's at least 4 distinct exams, right? So we have the CAPM, as you mentioned, the PMP, which is really that was the starting of PMI. And then you have the ACP, which is the agile component of what PMP is, right? And I'll throw in a next one on that, which is outside of PMI, which is Scrum. My good fella here, he does that kind of training. So it depends on what profile you're using, right? So if you're gonna go CAPM, is if you're really a junior PM and just want to get that quick certification, not too heavy on the studying kind of thing, and just have a good grasp project management. I would recommend doing the CAPM as an entryway, right? The PMP wise is if it's a one and done kind of certification where you don't need the others once you have that PMP, kind of give you that level of, yeah, you went through it and you did it through the rigor. But I kind of lean in more towards the ACP, and it's because the landscape is changing to more of an agile. A lot of companies locally and overseas is looking to more like agile practitioners, kind of thing, less in the waterfall, which it still has a place. So my bias would be, if you know that you're going into more of an agile space, if that's what most persons are looking for, I would say go with the PMI ACP as a certification. But if it's something that project management is not really the main focus of your career, then I'll tell you the CAPM is a really good starting place. But if you want to be aggressive, prove that you know your thing in terms of project management, the PMP is a good play. All right?
Okay, thank you. Now on to the data analyst, because growing up through high school.
You don't want me to?
Oh yes, no, finish. Sorry, my
right.
apologies.
So the reason why I wanted to just add, you mentioned Scrum. So there are other certifications in the agile space that can get your foot in to projects. For example, I'm a certified product owner, and then I'm a certified Scrum Master, and I'm a certified Safe Agilist. So those are 3 different certifications for 3 different aspects of agile project management that you can also look into. And they are, I would say, fairly a little more comfortable to complete than a PNP, because the PNP, as I said, is the one and done, is the big one, more towards waterfall, while these certifications are more towards the agile methodologies. So I would say there are many ways, but one thing I would like you to start doing from now is to get those projects in. And it doesn't need to be big, fancy corporate projects. You're having, this entire setup is a project. So volunteer as much as you can for any event and assisting in setting up and mapping out the processes, and document as much as possible. You can Google and find not the latest, but the most common form of documentation required for project management, your project charter, your checklists, and just start documenting as much as possible, because to do your PNP, they'll require a certain amount of experience. And to show these steps that you've been doing for quite some time on projects like event planning and so on, it really helps you along the way.
Okay, thank you. So now moving on to be data analyst, because I'm a comp sci major, but I think I love accounts more than comp sci, and I think data analyst is my way to merge the two. So how was your journey going into data analytics?
You said you're accounts?
A comp sci major.
A comp sci major?
Yeah, but I think I love accounts more.
You think you love accounts more?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me tell you a little about my journey. My journey into data analysis, as I said, I started in software development, right? And the whole data analytics came out of a need, the company realizing that we need to bolster the data management and data footprint of the company, right? The whole idea of, you spoke about ownership of data and all of that. Those are some of the questions I had to grapple with. And so we developed a small arm in IT, just a couple of people to manage that. And it grew, because as data became more and more important, the company realized you have to invest more in it, right? And so it kind of just grew organically from there. I'd say though, you having a lean towards accounting, right? One of the things I've found in data analytics is that the knowledge of the subject area, like if you know the subject area, then half your work is done. You find that, which is why I was talking about data adjacent roles, right? Or technology adjacent roles. So if you're a ComSci major with an accounting leaning, right, then you're automatically a business analyst, right? on any accounting related project, right? You automatically have that leaning, you're automatically ahead of the game, right? Because most technology people don't know the business, right? And if you know the business, you're ahead of the game all the time. Somebody mentioned the fact that it's about solving problems, right? The technology by itself is nothing. It's about applying it to a problem. So you would already be applying it to a subject area, and that would put you ahead of the game all the time. And that goes for any other area, right? It's always good to invest to know your craft in something else, right? In something real. I mean, technology is real, but technology is an enabler. It enables everything else. And so knowing that something else is equal as important as knowing the technology, because that's how you apply it. And it's nothing without application.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. This question is to any panelists who would like to answer. Unlike these two gentlemen who came before me, I am not very science adjacent. I study law. So, IT right now is not my field. But when we encounter law mixed with IT, it's often in like data protection and regulation. So I'm just asking, like, if in your fields, in your industries, do you encounter that much attorneys or people who studied law being involved in like IT? Yeah.
Yes. As you said, there are legal frameworks that are there that needs to be managed, and that's where someone with the experience of both law and IT, when it comes on to data governance, data privacy, as it relates to contracts, companies do a lot of business with other IT firms to ensure that they're following the right or the company appropriate procedures. For example, any one of our companies can say we're engaging with an overseas company and it's just to build a system. We do not want to incorporate into AI, but that's what that company also do. And lawyers play a great role in ensuring that we stay within the necessary frameworks to protect the company as much as possible. But even as a lawyer, having your little IT cert, you are well equipped in using your Excel, well equipped in using your Microsoft. It can be even that simple. So it's really how you can put it on a more personal level, where how you're going to improve your own skill sets using IT as a lawyer.
Thank you. Anybody else answering?
I was going to mention the fact that even this week, in an engagement with an external vendor, right? My next stop was a lawyer, right? Because when you're talking about contracts, right? If the legal person isn't looking at the contract, then you're in problems, right? So lawyers always have a space everywhere. That's the first thing. Lawyers exist everywhere, right? So the IT space is no different. But I'd also say that from the perspective of your own, let's say your law office, right? If you're going to operate a law office, right, you're going to be interacting with persons, with documents, right? Law has a heavy leaning on documents, right? And so there are lots of technology solutions that are tailor-suited for your space, right? And the more you know about those and the more you incorporate those in your own practice, is the better your law office will be, right? A lot of the things that we have problems with lawyers, I think we have the same problem with doctors, right? Is just management of the interaction, right? And technology can help with that, just like any other interaction. So you should really tap into it.
Thank you.
All right, you'll be answering? No? Okay, so I do have a question for Dr. Johnson. It's not very techie though. I've never been that girl. But, so I study dentistry. But for those who don't know that I study dentistry, they think I study marketing or business or just something that has to do with communicating with people, because I love a mic, I love project management, I love planning events. I have a separate passion outside of my dental profession. However, I never once studied business in any way, shape, or form. I left IT in high school years ago. So how would you advise someone like me who has a passion for these things, but no real certification, no real degree, to actually be accepted in the space? Is there an issue with that? You know, like, okay, she's Dr. Brownie soon. What is she going to do for our company? She's just a doctor. She just count teeth, 1 to 32 every day. How is she going to help us? How do you advise someone like me who wants to go into that field with just the passion? I can trick people that I'm knowledgeable because I can talk, but how do you get through that space without that paper that says, okay, she's certified for this?
So as I said before, thank you for that question. It really touches, I think, a lot on my personal journey. So as I said before, I'm the general manager for Catalyst Innovation Institute and the associate chief of staff for Novamed overall. But my degree, I have MBBS and I have a master's in science in public health and health promotion that I got from my time in the UK. So my degree literally almost has nothing to do with what I do now. Initially, when I worked with the company, yes, I started out at Medical Associates, kind of just improving their operations. I do a lot of operation work in terms of our portfolio companies, but I'm not trained in it. And if I want to say something like, those who can do and those who can't teach, So I find that in entrepreneurship, in business, and things like that, persons are not too focused on what the paper says, but they're much more focused on what your experience says. So, you know, you have a great mix to actually have a very successful dental career already, right? But also a career that encompasses other things as well. And I would say we're mosaic, so you don't have to be identified by just one thing. You can do several things. I do a lot of work in the NGO space, and I find that like NGO and business, the only difference is where the profit goes, right? So what I did was, as I said, I just said yes. So, you know, you're presenting here, I'm sure you had a part in putting it together. Like these things that you do from high school, university, they actually matter. And I'm going to tell you why they matter. So I got the Shielding Scholarship, 2023? And for that scholarship, you have to write examples. You have to substantiate why you're a leader, why you are an influencer, why you should be given this opportunity to help develop your country. And I've been out of med school, 5 years now? And 6, rotted. And I gave examples from when I was a first year in medicine. I talked about how I, put together a seminar that, solved a problem or whatever. I spoke about what I did as a senior house officer or as an intern in med school. And at this point, I was out of medicine. I think I was at Ragamuffin at that point, to be honest. And I was working at Medical Associates. Now, the other thing is, even though I was at Medical Associates, what my background in medicine did was just help me understand a bit more about how it works. But I ended up doing a lot of design thinking. So I redid the lobby. We redid the entire operating theater so that it'd be easier to access, easier to be used by surgeons and other physicians. And I didn't even know it was design thinking until my boss said, "Oh yeah, this is called design thinking." I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you." I actually do a lot of project management as well. Have absolutely no training in it at all. And I think what really helps is someone said it. Your network is very important, because sometimes when you don't have the accolades or you don't have the paper, sometimes it's the belief in you that helps when somebody opens that door for you and someone gives you a chance and gives you an opportunity. So that's how I was able to reach where I am at in my career, by just chasing my passions, putting myself out there. But at the end of the day, it was somebody who I knew that introduced me to my current boss. And that is how this journey has started. And I have several stories of how getting jobs in areas that I have no training in, no real expertise in, but fundamentally that person thought, you have the ingredients to be successful in this area. So I think you're doing what you're doing well. Document it. LinkedIn nowadays is like a live resume. Put yourself out there. Put it on Instagram as well, because, with branding, we might think, oh, I don't want to do a brand, whatever. But with the age of social media, you are a brand, regardless of whether or not you want to be. So may as well be intentional about it. Your brand is how people see you. Your brand is what people expect from you. And your brand is how people talk about you, right? So really curate that, invest in that, and don't do nothing silent. Be loud about the things you do. One thing that women tend to do, and this is documented, McKinsey do a whole study on this and everything, is that we are less likely to negotiate our salaries, especially if the interview is a woman. I don't know why. We are less likely to be loud about our achievements. We're less likely to apply for roles because, oh my God, I only have 99.9999999 of it, so I'm not going to apply. While John the Public, Email TV reached 50%, I said, you know, me can do this, I shut this out. So a lot of it is sometimes fair. Just put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to fail, but also more importantly, don't be afraid to succeed, which is actually something that a lot of us can be afraid of.
Thank you so much. We'll talk.
All right, so we have 2 more questions here.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Rashawn Winter. I am a law student as well. My question is somewhat linked to the last 2 questions, right? You know, not everybody here are IT people and so on, but I want to ask more directly, you know, because we know that the world is ever evolving and changing. So what evolutions do you see that are resulting in niches that we can all think about capitalizing on within the IT sphere?
All right, I can start. In the US and other more developed nations, there is a strong rush now for alternative energy to support AI storage and capacity building. So all of these servers that run these AI machines takes up a lot of energy. And so you have companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, they're all now investing into startup companies that focus on renewable energy, solar, nuclear. There are so many different avenues to IT adjacent, IT support, or supporting the entire infrastructure as it relates to the future of IT. So just by that example, energy is one of those areas you can look to see what is happening in that space and how it's being influenced by technology. And that's one area you can also look to support. As a lawyer, I'm sure there are a lot of legal requirements as it relates to nuclear and renewable energy. That's where you come in and be that niche expert into supporting the government, supporting the Jamaican government in ensure we write the appropriate laws as it relates to harnessing energy for the country.
I would add one that's a little closer to your wheelhouse. As I said before, AI space is new, right? And so even the laws governing AI, they don't really exist, right? They don't exist right now. So anybody who's looking in that space is going to be ahead of the game all the time, right? So laws governing AI usage, the whole idea of AI integration into certain environments, you know, all the different industries, there's a space there. And I think the spaces are different for every single industry. And as I said before, lawyers are everywhere. So every industry has a space that can be influenced by this technology, and there are no laws, there's nothing at the moment to govern that. So that's another avenue.
All right, let me take it from a different point of view, right? And I do agree with both my co-panelists, right? How to look at it also is the embracing of AI, right? One easy way to look at it is there was one time when Excel and Microsoft was the newest thing, and whoever knew how to use it had the ultimate power, right? Similar can be said in terms of AI in Jamaica, right? You don't have to even come out to your domain. You don't even have to try to change anything about it. But just the ability of leveraging AI in our day-to-day is already you're a winner. So for instance, it would take me a month to write a proposal as it relates to like a just any proposal. Now it's taking me minutes to a point where just and I'm not just saying that you just randomly put a prompt in ChatGPT. There's a way to massage it and way to like create your prompts. And if you practice just that, you're already ahead of the game. There's times where I have meetings where I'm taking the notes, like interacting with persons, taking notes, and then just being introduced to an AI tool that does all the notes taking. The fact that you have those kind of toolkits in your domain, even if it's law, even if it's medicine, etc., just the ability to go out and seek out what's the latest AI tool and becoming an expert at it is just enough of an edge for anybody in any industry. So I'll take it from that kind of point of view.
Is there another question? Okay, go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Karina Gale. So I'm a computer science student, but prior to coming here and doing computer science, I did biology, chemistry, and physics because I was supposed to be a doctor. So the transition was very difficult for me, and I'm past halfway, but it's still a little bit difficult for me. But seeing as though I've already started, I'm going to finish, and I plan to go in data analytics or data science. What advice do you have for me regarding certifications? And just to keep it brief, I'm going to put everything together, and as a young woman in the field, how do I get a woman as a mentor? Because there's so many men in the field. How do I get access to a good woman who can mentor me? That's it.
All right, so there's two parts to your question, right? I'll try to attempt the first one and the second one as well, and then I'll pass it over to my guy here. In terms of certification, in terms of data, right, look out for like what tools are that's driving the industry. So we know that you have the Power BI, you have the Tableau, and those kind of things. I think there's a double thing to it where you can be certified in it, as well as there's a freemium on those tools where if you become like, you can use it kind of thing and know how the ins and out, that's a good advantage. So I'm gonna leave that the additional to my guy here on the certification bit. For the second question is, the question I throw back to you, do you have a LinkedIn profile? All right, start search, like use the search engine on LinkedIn to like figure out like data analysts, and then it will probably pop up the first 10 women in your field that is actually doing that. And then start adding them, connecting with them, have small conversations. And here, let me give you one trick, right? Don't start a conversation asking them what they can do for you, but more so let's twist the conversation and say what I can do for you, right? When you do it that way, trust me, they're game. They will never leave you out and those kind of things. As well as my co-panelists mentioned is, don't be afraid to like talk up yourself in terms of what you're able to do. So you do your background work in terms of, hey, I'm X and I am an expert as it relates to Tableau, and here are some of my examples because I have a website that I rolled up and, love to get to connect with you. I think that's a nice little cheat sheet to that, all right?
Of course, we're coming to you as in the strong woman, right? Mentor. But in terms of the data analytics, I wanted to just to add some facets to that, because when we speak data analytics, we tend to look at the end result, right? But there, especially at a ComSci major, there are a lot of things that go into getting to that end result, right? So people like to look at the dashboards and the analytics and the predictive stuff and so on, right? But I find that my strongest persons are my data engineers, right? I can't find good data engineers. I find lots of people who want to be data analysts, but the data engineer, the ComSci major who has that kind of logical mindset that can move my data from core systems into my data warehouse and massage it, and that person is gold, right? So sometimes, there are lots of different disciplines inside data. So the data engineering, there's the reporting engineering, there's the database persons, right? And all those persons are just as important, or sometimes even more important than your data analyst, right? So, and there are certifications in that space as well. So you could look into some of those. and think about the strengths that you have and where you want to apply them. Right? So sometimes if you're really strong logically, you're almost wasted in some of the spaces. Right? So think about your strengths and where you can apply them.
I'm really glad that you asked that question on mentors, because when you mentioned it, I was just like, I hope somebody asks about mentorship. I hope somebody asks about mentorship. But before I get on that, I think it's excellent that you were able to move from science, human sciences, physics and so on, to computer science. I know a recent graduate, biomedical engineer, who had none of the physics and the whatever, graduated with honors. And it really had to do with interest and drive. But sometimes I think if we zoom out, you can realize that you have the same reasons you may have excelled at physics, maybe the same reasons you excel at computer science. When we start to take away those very specific things and boxes, you realize a lot of things are connected by themes. An example for myself, a lot of what I do at work actually is find problems, and it's very annoying to people. Basically a chief of staff, that's what you do. You go out, you find problems, and you fix them. But that's also why I liked medicine. It's like a puzzle. You have to find out the problem, and then you fix it. And that took me a very long time to figure out that is what it was. It was never about the area. It was about the fundamentals, which meant I would have excelled anywhere that challenged me to find problems and fix them. In terms of mentorship is one of the hardest things, I think, for many reasons. One, to find somebody, but two, to also find the right person as well. And, being in a male-dominated field like I am, I'm crossing finance and business and all those stuff. There is a paucity really of persons to look to. But I would say when it comes to mentorship and finding women mentors, what I have done on my own journey is be very selective. So I decided that I'm not going to put a time limit on when I find a mentor, because I don't want to choose someone who just doesn't click with me, right? Very much so when you go into persons is, what can I do for you? And sometimes it's as simple as, hey, I read that article you put out in the Gleaner. I thought it was really good. Here are my thoughts. I would love to get a coffee. Let me tell you, the person that introduced me to my boss, we met on Twitter, and I said, yo, let's have a coffee. Literally, that's how it started. So it's about actually finding persons who interest you, and one way to do that is 100% LinkedIn, 100% LinkedIn. Also Instagram too, high key, and then even in your net worth. Something as well that I have done is I actually look to mentors who may not actually be in the field itself, but have traits and characteristics that I'm trying to embody. Right? I want to be someone who's a confident speaker. I want to be able to, stand up for myself in the workplace. So I may, seek out someone who is a female CEO or a woman, whatever. So sometimes I find that we have to be creative, right? But let me tell you, there is somebody out there, and you just have to keep looking, keep pushing out. But the most important thing, that why I wanted to jump in, is we talk a lot about mentorship, but what a lot of us want, particularly if we're working in fields that are new to us, or we're trying to change careers, or you're trying to get ahead, you're trying to play the corporate game, you need a sponsor. A sponsor is a mentor, but what they do is actively invest in your career and your growth. I have benefited extremely from having a sponsor. What this means is, if, let's use Jade as an example. Say I am throwing an event and I need a speaker, I have the budget, I can get Yendi, I can get Miss Kitty, but you know what? I am invested in Jada's career. So I give Jada that opportunity to be the speaker. And why I like the idea of a sponsor is because it has all the fundamentals of a mentor, but it also has that active part, and it means that there is a relationship where they're invested in you, but you also have to be invested in them, right? It's always going to be a two-way street. The last point I want to add is on networking. We're about to end. We're going to be networking, and networking is relationship building. You cannot fake a relationship and leverage that relationship with networking. You just cannot do it. I have had instances where I thought I found a really great woman who I was like, yeah, man, I want to talk to her. I asked for somebody who knows her, can I get a contact, whatever. Contact, set up call, set up meeting. I just wanted to hear her story, literally. Up to now, we don't meet. And it's nothing against her, and it's nothing against me. It's just sometimes persons may just not be that interested. And I find that when things are hard, they're just not for me. I much prefer to be challenged. So when you're out there in this event and other events, learn to talk to people. Talk about something more than just, hey, how are you? What do you do for a living? Oh, you went to da-da-da. Find something that you guys can talk about that is similar to you. So like when I go talk to Jen, I'll be like, oh, so how has dentistry been? You think you're going to stay in there, blah, blah, blah. And people want to know that you actually care about them, that you actually care, but you also actually remember. One thing I try very hard to do is remember people's names, but I am terrible at it. The other day, I went to AC, and I said, well, go on, Nicole. And she said, how you remember my name? And I was like, what you mean? What you mean? And then there was a second waiter, and every time he waits on me, I give him pear attitude. Like he can't do nothing right for me. That's what he's gonna think. And I said hi to him, and I said his name. And he was just like, what? How do you even remember this? But the woman waiter, she came back and she's just like, no man, how you know my name? Yeah, you're really good at names, where was it that blah, blah, blah. And we talked about, she remembered me as well. But what that does, and I have found, is that when people feel like you care about them, people feel like you're listening to them and you take notice of them, they're so much more likely to be helpful and supportive, and you will never know who it is that's going to call your name in a room. Sometimes it's people you don't even know that supporting you, calling your name in a room just for those simple things. And it has to come from a place that is genuine, and you have to actually care about learning about this person and the things that they do. Which is why at the end of the day, if somebody talk to all day and say, boy, I know this feel like I'm just a force it. You sometimes just have to end it right there, so. Because it is very unlikely you're going to go up this tall hill, pulling stones, blah, 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 and you may not even be able to benefit from that relationship and vice versa. But say you say, him not even work in your field, but you kick it off, you stay in touch, you get coffee, you go buy patty, whatever, you talk. The moment that an opportunity lands on his desk that is relevant to you, you're the first person that person's gonna think about. So relationships are the backbone of building a successful career, particularly if it's not in your area of study or expertise.
All righty. Thank you so much for those valuable nuggets, panelists. For those who still have burning questions, I'm going to ask that you wait until the networking session to ask them. Thank you so much. Over to you, Jada.
All right. Thank you so much again, panelists. And thank you, audience. Thank you so much for asking your questions. It's really, 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 really a pleasure to see that we do have these questions. It shows that we were engaged. We're actively networking, and our panelists did a wonderful job. So another clap for them, please. That was my little, dibby dibby squab squab. Thank you. I'm going to invite the actual vote of thanks that will be presented by Miss Denise Gray.
Good night. As we wrap up this enlightening session of the Navigating Your Future, Getting Ready for the Final Year and Career series, I'd like to take a moment to extend my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who contributed to making this event a success. First and foremost, I want to thank our SSDM, Ms. Simone Williams, for her unwavering support towards our student development programs. Your dedication and commitment to our students have been instrumental in bringing these initiatives to life. I'd also like to express my sincere appreciation to our esteemed panelists. Johan Adamson, Senior Manager, Data Analytics and Insights at VM Group. Aldine Graham, Managing Director of Agile Lab. Dr. Samantha Johnson, General Manager of NovaMed. Davin Doman, Manager of IT Services at Sagicor. Your insights and expertise have provided invaluable guidance to our students as they prepare for their futures. Remember, be a problem finder and not just a problem solver. Oh, and get a new job every year. Yeah. A special thanks goes to our resident advisor, Javid Bryan, for his dedication and commitment to our students under the final year residence program. Your efforts in creating a space that strives for professional development have equipped our students with the insight and valuable information they need to explore a wide range of career choices in different industries. I'd also like to acknowledge our generous sponsors who made this event possible. VM Group, Sora Media Productions, 20K Entertainment, Sports File Studios, Kazana Foods, Red Bull, Rasta Safari. Thank you for your support and belief in our mission to empower students. Lastly, I want to thank all the students who came out today. Your enthusiasm and participation are what make these events meaningful. We hope you leave with new knowledge and inspiration to navigate your future successfully. Remember, Jamaica is big, but the world is huge. And don't think I forgot you both. To our beautiful hosts, you both did amazing. Give them a round of applause, everyone. Thank you all once again, and have a wonderful night.
Thank you, Miss Gray. And now, again, to show our appreciation of the panelists, we just like to give you some goodies. So as I call your name, I'm just going to ask that you step to the front, and Jada will do the necessary. So give it up for Mr. Davin Doman.
Our little gifts will be presented by our resident advisor, Mr. Javid Bryan.
All right, give him another round of applause. Up next, we have Mr. Aldine Graham. Up next, we have Mr. Johan Adamson. Special thanks to our main sponsor, VM Group. Give it up again for them, please. And last but certainly not the least, Dr. Samantha Johnson. Awesome. Give another round of applause to our lovely panelists. Thank you so much. Before we sign off as your host, I'm just going to invite the Hall Chairman of Chancellor Hall, Mr. Rashawn Winter, to bring us closing remarks. Please make him welcome.
Good evening again, everyone. So, on behalf of the organizing committee, of which I'm not a part, in case you're wondering, I'm just a neighbor who took the time out to attend this session. I just want to say, even though the vote of thanks would have gone before, thank you again to everybody, for attending this session, navigating your future, getting ready for your final year and careers. Just to give a brief comment, student development activities like these are very, very important. And I'm pleased, to see that this being the second of the series is equipping our students to transition, not only to do well in your final year, but to take on the professional space as well. And I want to say again to the panelists, as I said before, I'm a law student, I am sure that even though most of the students here are IT aspirants or students in IT, that this session was beneficial as well to students who are not IT students. So, we are really, really grateful for that. And to the organizing committee, I just want to say keep up the good work and keep on developing our students so that they can do well. Continue to boost student success. Thank you again.
All right, so just before we close, I'd like to present also some lovely tokens to our wonderful hosts who did a fantastic job tonight. All right, again, so thank you for everyone for turning out for this wonderful session. And of course, that's been over probably an hour and a half, an hour or two. And some of you have been very loyal in engaging with the panelists and see what they had to offer. There's refreshment on the outside for every one of you guys. And also, iSave with VM Group. It's a fantastic way to develop your financial stability going forward. So they're at the back, and they're here to help you to navigate your future as well financially. So enjoy the food on the outside as well as your financial stability for your future. Thank you again.
Thanks for coming out, everyone. A reminder that you can take this opportunity to network with our panelists, have your personal questions thrown at them.